Okay, welcome. I'm Tim Scoggins, Chairman of the Shaftsbury Select Board, and I'm calling this meeting of the Shaftsbury Select Board to order at 6:30 on Monday, June 2nd, 2018. I want to point out a change in the schedule. There was a water board meeting scheduled for 6 o'clock today. That got canceled because of unavailability of our water superintendent. So we're moving on to the regular meeting of the Select Board. First off, I need to check with the board. Does anyone have a conflict of interest with anything appearing on the agenda this evening?
No.
All right. Approval of minutes. We've been trying to catch up with minutes when we get the right permutation of people here tonight. And tonight we have Tim and Art and Joe, which we need to pass the minutes for May 21st, which have been circulated. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Art, seconded by Joe. Any discussion, amendments, corrections to the minutes for May 21st?
I have to abstain.
Okay. Yes, you're not on the list. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain? So the minutes for May 21st are approved by a vote of 301. Next up is warrants. I've got a couple. I have three. Payroll warrant number 18 in the amount of $20,931.72.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Art.
Second.
Seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So payroll warrant number, I'm sorry, I called the number wrong. That was payroll warrant number 26 in the amount of $20,931.72 is approved 400. I have a retirement warrant number 46 in the amount of $8,571.16.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Art.
Second.
Second by Joe. Any discussion? All in favor of approving payroll warrant number 46, say aye.
Aye.
So payroll, I'm sorry, retirement warrant number 46 in the amount of $8,571.16 is approved 400. And finally, I have check warrant, claims to be number 1,
First one of the year.
amount of $66,715.02.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Art,
Second.
second by Joe. Major items on this one. Bennington County, $13,000. Must be a
That's the
tax payment.
annual warrant, half the annual warrant for the courts and things.
Okay. And $2,200 to Shaftsbury ID.
That's the Bennington County for Shaftsbury ID.
Okay. $37,000 to Standard Leasing LLC.
Yeah, Santander for the last payment on the tandems,
Santander. Last payment.
last payment.
Very good.
This is the older tandem, the first tandem.
This is the last tandem.
The last tandem,
Yeah.
the one that had the fire and everything?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's gone so long.
So what do we got? We got excavator left.
We have one left, yeah. That's the Dodge and the excavator.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Dodge.
There's $5,200 to Vermont League of Cities and Towns, $1,900 to William E. Daley, $1,900 to Wells Communication Services.
That's all fire department communications.
Okay, there's several here from them. There's a $1,100 to Wells, yeah, and a few $100 ones, all for communications equipment for the fire department.
League of Cities and Towns, is that our insurance?
That's our annual, no, that's our annual payments at
For
VLCT.
membership.
Membership, legals, things like that.
Okay. Any more discussion on payroll, check warrant number 1? All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
So, check warrant number 1 in the amount of $66,715.02 is approved, 400. Are there any announcements?
I guess I don't know if most people know about the Village Walk on Wednesdays. It's just come and meet your neighbor,
Right.
5 to 8.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times. Mike Ryan,
Mike
our
Ryan.
postmaster, he's out there from 5 to 8 to walk with anybody that wants to walk, and he gets anywhere from 10 to 30 people that participate over the 3 hours that he's there. So, yeah, it's a good chance to meet your neighbors and get a little exercise. Good. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, that takes us to public comments, and we have an item under public comments. We have some citizens here who are seeking to do some traffic control on 7A around the chocolate barn. And Dorothy Bucksbaum, would you like to start us off and tell us why the heck do you want to slow down people going around that curve where all the trucks are people are backing onto the road?
Coming from a race car driver, I'm not usually slowing people down, but in this case, it's
Ma'am,
important.
excuse me, but if you could sit over here so the microphone can pick you up, that way people can hear you at home better.
Thank you,
You
Dave.
bet. Right here.
Yes, right, there, yeah, the chair's there.
It's cooler here, right?
Yeah.
I like that. Excuse my back. Crib notes. My name is Dorothy Bucksbaum. I live in Shaftsbury, across from the chocolate barn. Thank you, God. A little background on me. I was born and grew up here, and I just moved back home about 2 years ago to take care of my mother from New York City. Spent about 40 years in the fashion industry in New York. And I came home to care for my mom, Barbara Bucksbaum, who you may know. She and my dad served the town and the state for many, many years in elected capacity as well as volunteer. And I'm sure most of you know or remember them or have heard stories, I'm sure, at least about my dad. The reason that I'm here tonight is that in the last several years, the area in front of my home on 7A has become tremendously busy. Huge increase in traffic, mainly due to the huge success of Tom and Sue at the Chocolate Barn. And of course, the Clearbrook Farm, Andrew's Clearbrook Farm, is just crazy busy. As a matter of fact, I counted 36 cars there Saturday morning at 9 a.m., myself included. There was a sale. It was like they were parked on the road. They were everywhere. Also, in that shore area, you have Dave and Patty Hertzfeld. Patty's here tonight. They have a wonderful business and a studio there, and they have a lot of traffic turning in. And Erica and Shane Becker, who have a fencing business right across the street to the north of the Chocolate Barn. It's a lot of action in that little quarter mile. In addition to the busy businesses, there's hundreds of families that live in Hidden Valley, which has grown tremendously, many with children. Also, there was a big housing boom up on Birch Hill Road. There's quite a few houses up there, and those poor people have to turn on that blind corner, and that is a very scary thing to do. The biggest issue in this whole mix of traffic, turning and stopping and pulling in and out, are the addition of fully loaded local trucks. Now, fortunately, 7 took away a lot of the big trucks, but we still have our local businesses in trucking and carting and garbage and FedEx and UPS and all the ones we all know. And even if they're traveling at 50 miles an hour, which is the current legal speed limit, I think they'd be hard pressed to stop at some moron pulling out in front of them from Hidden Valley. Many of us who live in this area know it's mayhem on many days, especially the holidays when there's people out, especially shopping and buying. There's trucks and cars and motorcycles, school buses. It's crazy busy. And we all know what that hill is like in the winter. We've all probably been stuck on that hill many times. It's a scary place to be. So we all decided maybe we could make this short stretch of 7A a little safer. I took the point to get the ball rolling and asked my dear friend and Bennington's best legislator, Mary Morrissey. I always call her for advice. And she suggested a few things. First, she said to reach out to Tim Corcoran, also our excellent representative, and he's also on the Vermont Department of Transportation Committee. And I did just that. All the correspondence, the main correspondence, I've given you copies and emailed to you. I contacted him, and he kindly forwarded that information to his committee member, Ian DeGutis. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, for his comments. So you also have his reply and my reply back to him as well. I'd be happy to read it if anyone would like me to. Also contacted Tim Scoggins, our select board chair. I knew he was directly involved getting the speed reduced in the town and was probably very well versed on how all this is done. I explained the situation. He kindly offered his support and suggested I have to begin with a petition, and he kindly placed us on the agenda tonight. Otherwise, you'd be home in a cool drink by now. I've copied by email all of you and the town administrator on the most important of my communications so that we could speed this up tonight. No pun intended there. At this time, let me read the letter of support we have, and it'll also make it clear exactly what we're asking for.
Dorothy, if all we can offer in terms of the sun is just to keep moving out of the way of it.
Good idea.
It's kind of
My bad.
something we've gotten used to. We just move with the sun here.
Okay. Story of my life, Tim. Reduce the speed limit. Okay, I'm writing to lend my support of the following petition by local Shaftsbury businesses and residents to reduce the speed limit from 50 to 40 in the short area preceding the Chocolate Barn on Route 7A, headed north from the top of the hill, as well as headed south before the blind curve approaching the Chocolate Barn. Give you a visual. To add signage, watch for turning vehicles in the same two areas, and to add a blinking caution light at the intersection of Route 7A and Hidden Valley Road, Clearbrook Farm, which also adjoins the south end of the Chocolate Barn's parking lot. This blinking caution light will simply alert drivers to the busy area without disrupting travel. It's not a stop sign, it's just a blinking light. Caution. Local businesses and area residents are petitioning the Shaftsbury Select Board to act on their behalf to have the safety problem solved by the Vermont Agency of Transportation. All are hoping to facilitate these changes to make the busy area safe. In the area in front of the Chocolate Barn and the turn to Hidden Valley, Clearbrook Farm, and Birch Hill Road, there are hundreds of cars daily turning in backing out, pulling in and out from Hidden Valley. A very busy business such as Clearbrook Farms, the Chocolate Barn, Hertzfeld Studio, Becker Fencing, as well as many residents must stop to turn left or right on the blind corner. To go home to the dozens of houses on Birch Hill are all at risk in this really busy area. All of these businesses have cars and trucks and motorcycles, all stopping, turning onto and off of Route 7A. The speed limit here is 50 miles an hour, and that is really much too fast in consideration of the busy traffic visiting the businesses in this small area. Many large trucks proceed down the hill with full loads, and even at the legal 50 miles per hour, this creates peril to the vehicles stopped to turn or backing into the highway. I strongly urge the Vermont Agency of Transportation to make these minor but important improvements to this area in order to protect our citizens and visitors. My best, and it's signed by the following. It's only been 10 days, so give me more time, I'd have more signs. Dick Sears, State Senator Brian Campion, Representative Alice Miller, Representative Timothy Corcoran II, Representative Mary Morrissey, Sheriff Chad Schmidt. So that gives you an idea of what we're looking to do. This was 3 hours ago, just at the top of the hill. You can pass that around. Passing itself around. This is just a daily occurrence. Crash and burn, turn, squealing tires. This was a teacher from Bennington College that I helped out of the car. And
Yeah, so what happened in this picture? I just see cars parked.
which one? Well, I came up on it after. There was 2 cars further south, and there was those 2 cars to the north. There was debris all over the road, people walking in the road. I don't know if they'd had an accident, I don't know, but it was just that quick. And it does happen that quickly. These pictures are my property. When was this, Sue? Last year? We have accidents that people didn't even stop and report. This was a truck and a trailer that avoided a car pulling out, went over my hill, hit all my apple trees, dug it all up, and kept going down in the front yard and took off. Never reported it. Those are just a couple I grabbed tonight.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. Let's see. Bear with me here. I also wrote to an email on the advice of Tim Corcoran to Ian DeGutis, and wrote back. He's on the travel committee, Department of Transportation, and I have his reply. Just to paraphrase him, he was in agreement, it seemed, that we needed some signage at the least, and that once we started this ball rolling and filled out the proper paperwork and had a petition, that they could then act and take it further. They would have someone study the area, and they would have an engineer do research, and they could take it further. I also reached out to Lieutenant Thomas Moser, who's the commander of the Shaftsbury State Police, and Sheriff Chad Schmidt, who was supposed to be here tonight. He just emailed me. He got tied up. He's been wonderful. I think he's terrific. Both officers immediately were supportive and agreed to increase patrols in the area. They were already there. The state police offered to put up a radar sign. As I was someone explained to me that the town had to pay. There was an issue of insurance if they put it off
Yeah, it's
town
a state
property.
highway, so the state has to authorize it.
So the police have kindly offered to do that, so that was great news. Sheriff Smith did me the kind favor of calling and speaking with all the local large truck purveyors and told them that they would be in the area ticketing for speeding and hopefully slow some of the guys down if they can coming down that hill. There's a lot of action going on there, and I think that simple 10-mile-an-hour difference would make a massive amount of safety margin for people pulling in and out. At this time, I would like to give you the original petition. We've got 86 signatures in 20 days. We could get you hundreds more if you want or need more.
I don't think we need more. The main thing, the reason I suggested the petition is that to let the select board know that this is not just Dorothy Bucksbaum that wants this, that this is
Exactly.
the neighborhood that wants this.
Yeah, I'm speaking for
Yeah.
everyone there and those 86 people.
Right.
I just happen to have the time and the mouth to do it.
So do you have some friends here with you?
Yeah, let me just, hang on one second. I just wanted to say thank you to Sue. She got a lot of the signatures at the Chocolate Barn. No signature, no kidding. And we do have more than just Shaftsbury signatures. I had asked him, is that all we needed, is Shaftsbury? And in talking to so many people, there's so many people that frequent these businesses that are from Arlington and Sunderland and Bennington and Pownell that you'll find everyone listed there. Everyone had a story to tell, a horror story, and they wanted to be represented. I'd like to ask if you have questions, or I'd like these ladies, if they'd like to have something to stay.
Yes,
Offer them to do that.
Mary Morrissey or Patty Hertzfeld or Sue Hunchart, did y'all have something y'all would like to add?
I would just like to add that coming into Shaftsbury, the speed limit is 40 by the market landing on the hill. And so this would not be a major change for this to happen on the other end. It's very close in kind of the same concept of what we would on the other side. So I think it would, follow very appropriately.
Also in front of Paulins and Daly's, it's 40.
So you're not having a great change, it's pretty much what
No, it's a great idea to lower to 40. I have seen tens of trucks, major accidents happen there, and the truck ended up in Liberty's yard, which is also, I'm coming down the hill and I'd like to turn into my driveway. I've got people flying down that hill, and I'm wondering if they have the lane before they crash into the back of me. It's a very good idea to lower it to 40. I have a son who has a job across the street walking the dog. He's crossing the road every day to walk this dog. So.
Because of the hill, I'm almost wondering if you should go 35. Really?
That would be a great idea.
And also, when you have 40 and 50 for a speed limit, even by market wagon, a lot of people tend to just kind of like, they go in between. So if you really want to reduce some speed, I think you have to be a little more extreme and go for a lower speed limit.
My only caution there is that it has to be realistic. You don't want it to be something that people completely ignore.
Well, no,
And
45.
slowing down from 40 to 50, especially if we can get the blinking light and the
I think the
warning for backing
combination
trucks would
of
be
the three, the signage, like you have in coming into Shaftsbury, watch returning vehicles, the blinking light, and the reduction to 40, in my opinion.
Well, too, it's so congested in that area that
It
you're
is.
talking about. It's 5
To
miles
me,
an
the
hour.
point is to get this passed, and I think you'd have a terrible, terrible opposition if you tried to lower it lower than 40, my opinion.
Sue?
You're probably right.
I agree with Patty and Dorothy. Coming down that hill, you have to look, and there's always someone right behind you, and put your turn signal on at the top, and you slowly slow down, and sometimes they'll pass you. And and just, they don't care, they're in a hurry to do something. I also see, like Patty said about her son Carson, it's also, in addition to motor vehicles, it's a heavy pedestrian area. From Birch Hill to Hidden Valley, you have people that walk to Clearbrook to get groceries. They ride bicycles, they jog, they walk. So it's a multi-purpose road in
Good
that
point.
area. And I'm not sure what your demographics are for how many people are in that area, but there's hundreds in that small area that use that road. There's people with baby buggies on that road. And there's also, I'm not sure if anyone's noticed, through bike groups now through the summer from Williamstown, there's easily packed every few days, 20 to 30 of them, that they go to Canada and they stay at Lake Shaftsbury overnight. So you have those people using that road too. Something's gonna happen.
Somebody loves me.
They always go out when you don't want them.
I know. I am the opposite because I turn right when I come down the hill. So Mom always said growing up, you have, even back then, you know, you've got traffic coming out to your right from Hidden Valley, and Clearbrook wasn't there then, but now it is. It's even worse. If you put your blinker on, they assume you're turning into Clearbrook, and they just pull out. So if there's a car there, you wait, and you threshold brake and pull a right. And if there's no car there, then of course you put your blinker on. But it's an adventure up there, as I'm sure all of you
Yeah, well, I have,
know.
you know, in my, just going to the chocolate barn once or twice a month, I have been at the chocolate barn when somebody went off the road into your front yard.
That's right, that one time.
And Sue ran out and started screaming at them because they were digging donuts through the yard trying to get back up
Well,
the
that's
bank
the
onto
photo.
the road.
Is that the guy?
That's the photo. Yeah, you were, that's right.
And then
I
he just
forgot
took
you were
off.
there. Yeah, he took off.
Yeah,
You know, I tried to go out after him, but he took off.
yeah.
And your mother was very ill at the time, too.
Yeah, it needs our attention. And thank God these businesses are successful. This is like amazing and wonderful. But we got to protect our citizens and the people that come and visit. I mean, they don't want to go home with a crashed car or an accident or a hurt or injury. It's a simple fix.
Yeah.
We just have to do it.
Well, I'm certainly sympathetic. Are there any other comments from the board?
I would support the reduced speed limit, certainly, but I think, as I understand it, all we can do is recommend to the state, it's up to the state highway department or whoever
Yeah, they do
to
it still.
actually do the deed. if you
I'm
will.
very persuasive.
Yes, you are.
I think Tim is too. Yeah, we have all these local,
Yeah.
powerful, well-spoken politicians and people who care about the community. And I mean, they were on board. They have been so helpful. I was just surprised. I think of all the people we spoke to, there was 2 people that didn't want to sign. They just didn't want to be bothered out of everybody.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty.
Now, does your petition include reduced speed ahead warnings? To ask for that?
I didn't
think for
ask
them to be
for it.
legal, you have to put up
Yeah.
reduced speed ahead.
I assume that that's something the state just does because that's how they function. I don't know if I have to request
When
it.
you have the engineering study, if the board approves this, based on the MUTCD, the state will approve any change in speed limit signage and everything. It all has to meet a national standard, especially as a
course.
state highway. So things like that, if it's required, all this stuff will be programmed
It's all the
into it,
same,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It brings your attention to it. A lot of the people that I spoke to, I have my little estate sales on weekends trying to clean the house out. And I'm talking to a lot of people. It's fascinating. Everybody had a story. Everybody said how dangerous it was. You need a blinking light. You need this. You need that. I mean, there's a big groundswell here. And somebody's going to get killed if we don't work on this. So.
Art, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, this isn't a decision of the select board. This is a
Understood.
decision of the state.
This is the
but
beginning.
I did read in one of your comments where cars backing out into traffic, if you have a business...
Well, that's illegal.
If you have a business that requires your customers to back into traffic, is that a reasonable
There's
thing to
plenty
do?
of room to turn your car around and pull out.
Okay, well,
It's-
one of your comments was cars backing into traffic. And
That's an illegal activity, and that's hopefully what Chad Schmidt and the state police will be writing tickets for exactly that.
Well,
You are not allowed to back onto a highway. There's plenty of room to pull in, back up, and pull out, which is how you're legally supposed to do it. That's on the driver, not on a property owner. You can't.
Remember that back in driver's ed. that was-
Yeah, you can't do it. Don't do it. You get a ticket.
So there is, you feel that there is plenty of room for drivers to make a turn? So
I've
that
been pulling in the chocolate barn since I was
Okay.
16, and that's, what, 10 years easy?
Well, I spoke to a lady that came around the corner. Somebody was backing right out into the road.
Idiots.
Had to pull way into the other
Yeah.
lane as a car is coming down.
Agreed.
The difference between 40 and 50 miles an hour would not have made a difference in that case, but, so,
You're supposed to be in control of your vehicle, and you're supposed to obey the speed. The laws of the road are you do not back into traffic, period, end of story. And how does one control that? Hopefully you have police to write tickets, but you can't be out there beating people up if they choose to do stupid things.
As Ken said, it's not our decision, but there is a process whereby we petition the state to make a change like that, like we did here in the middle of town when we lowered the speed limit here. Having the select board endorse the change is an important part of the background information that the state will take into consideration when they decide to do this. Also having the support of local legislatures and the neighborhood. What would happen was we would petition for the change. There would be a traffic study that would happen. At some point, the state would hold a meeting in Montpelier where they would review the change and decide whether or not to do it. And I've been through that process with the bit here in town, and it matters that you are there in person to argue your case, and I'm certainly willing to lend my voice to that.
Mr. DeGuda spelled it out in his email that this is kind of the beginning. This is the grassroots.
Yeah,
right.
He gave me a link, but it didn't work. And I know Tim's been through it, so I figured between the two of us, we could certainly get the link.
Right.
This just starts the process. And you've been through it, so that's really helpful.
So I think what would be appropriate now is I would be looking for a motion.
Mary had it.
Mary, yeah.
So, though it's not your decision, will you be looking to write a letter of support?
Absolutely. And the first thing I want to do tonight is get the select board to pass a motion endorsing speed control at that location. So,
Free ice cream for everybody.
right. So I would be looking for a motion from the select board to endorse the citizens' petition and request for traffic control
So
on
moved.
7A at the Chocolate Barn to include lowering the speed limit. Moved by Ken,
Second.
seconded by Joe. Any more discussion?
approved by the state.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
that's
just
the whole
endorsing
point.
it. It's not our,
If it was you guys, it'd be easy.
yeah.
So that new Scotch ice cream you had,
Is it to die for?
so good, so good. Yeah.
You know that if anybody voted against her, you were cut off. You know that, right?
So good.
All right, any more discussion other than ice cream? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So the select board endorses the citizens petition and request for speed control on 7A at the Chocolate Barn and to include reducing the speed limit by the state. So,
What do we do next?
let's see if we can get that link to work. I forget the details, but I think what we do next is we collect our information and we apply to the state and request that this change happen. And I think the main trigger is the reduction in speed limit. I think if we request the reduction in speed limit, that may be sufficient to get the signage and the other things that we want. But
Yeah, in his answer back, he chose not to mention the blinking light. In my reply back to him, I kind of highlighted that little tidbit that he left out, because I personally, and many of the people, as you read through the petition, blinking light, blinking light, blinking light, people were very in favor of it. It just brings your attention to what's coming ahead.
yeah,
Forewarned is
right.
forewarned.
And David's right that a lot of it is going to be controlled by the MUTCD, the document that says what signage and blinking lights and all of that are appropriate. We can look and see. In my mind, those might be two different things: a blinking
Maybe.
light at an intersection and a reduction in speed limit.
Yeah,
It
is.
might require two requests of the state, so
Okay.
we'll have to look into that.
Great. I'm your girl if you need some help.
Okay, let's you and I plan to coordinate on this.
Okay.
And I think that's all that's required of the town. I think we would next be applying to the AOT for the change.
Very good, thank you so much.
Can I
Good.
just make a
Thanks.
comment?
Sure.
In one of your letters here, you actually talk about vehicles backing out into the road, which I don't think you should be telling the state that you have cars backing out into the road from a business. I just don't think it's good policy to say cars are backing
Agreed.
out.
When we write the proposal, we'll not
Okay.
say that.
Leave that out.
Good, thanks.
We'll ignore that we have idiots driving
Well,
here.
I think the state's aware of it.
That's the tough part.
Yes, it
But
is.
Art makes a good point. We don't want to try to get the state to help us commit illegal acts.
And that's why you're sitting there. I'm sitting there.
Good.
Thank you.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Thank you all for coming in.
Much appreciated.
We'll get to work on it.
Sorry about the phone nuts. Nobody ever calls me. Yeah?
Okay, next up, treasurer's report.
Okay, we close out the year today. Our expenditures will be within or less than 1% from what was budgeted, and we took in about a little less than 1% than what was planned. So the year's just totally even.
Okay.
Today's
Yeah.
warrant was all fiscal 19 except for $9,000. So the numbers on the bottom here, you can see expenditures are 98% of budget, and income revenue was nearly 102% of budget. So when we do a couple of things, couple of leftover bills, we'll be up around 99%. And there's at least one $10,000 adjustment that has come off the expenditures here, because it should have gone to the Class 3 road fund, which is a totally separate accounting. So the budget came in right where it was supposed to.
Very good.
Then we'll look up here for a minute. And it just shows June's activities, nothing really spectacular. The 8140 in the transfer station is, we're selling the access permits right now.
Oh, we
So
just went
that's
through that
for
exercise.
19. I will not try to explain the MAU tax reconciliation. You have to wait on that. And then everything else is right where it should be, unless there's any questions on it. I don't want to try to explain too much of Melanie's thing here.
Yeah, I think we're all happy to hear that we came in on budget.
Yeah, everything was very, very tight, even with the winter and everything else, it came in all right.
I think we owe a huge thanks to Dave. He watches it every minute.
He does.
The man is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Yep. Except I lost the next slide.
Don't compliment him anymore.
All right. If
He
there's
loses stuff.
We'll talk later.
anything else on the
Yeah, sorry, I
budget?
just lost this slide here for a second. Just the reserve funds, she sent out here.
Okay.
If there's any question on these, nothing much has changed. This just closes out the year. The fire truck is right where it should be. actually a couple hundred more dollars than I thought it would be at this point. The equipment's where it should be. They're all pretty much in good shape. This doesn't include the money for fiscal 19. This is just how it ended last year. If there's any question on any of these?
No, looks good.
Good. All right. That'll be the official treasurer's report.
Okay. Would you like to put on your other hat now and give us the
No.
official road report?
Now we'll do the road report. Let's see. A couple of things. Just a warning for everybody. Construction on East Road is going to begin next week. The road will be closed between Furnace Brook and Lower East Road for approximately 3 days. You need to replace 5 crossroad culverts in that stretch. Then the following week, it'll again be closed for about 3 days to replace 5 culverts between Lower East Road and the Bankton Town line. So the easiest thing is a detour up Buck Hill and Houghton Lane, just go around. We will have flaggers and there'll be some outside contractors working on this. Then in August, it'll be milled and repaved.
You shut it down completely? I mean, you just don't let...
Shut down completely.
So do you need flaggers if you...
No,
shut
because the
it down?
road will be closed. Well, I have a flagger working tomorrow and Thursday and Friday with them because they're doing side ditching and things like that.
Yeah,
But when we
do it, we
close
shut
it,
it down.
it's also quicker because we can do 5 culverts in 3 days.
Yeah.
It's just quicker, so.
No, I agree. Just-
know.
I just
What
want...
about the people on East Road? How do they get home?
People on East Road, well, because it's between Lower East and Furnace Brook, there might be one house there. We can get people out certain ways, but there won't be any through traffic. And people coming from other ways will just detour up Buck Hill and detour up Houghton and just go around.
Okay.
There really won't be much of an impact on anybody. And we'll see what we do with the paving. A lot of times we like to leave a lane open, but it slows it down, makes everything longer, to tell you the truth. When there is an acceptable detour route, it's sometimes better just to put up the detour route.
Right.
You know, it's safer for the crews too working it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if you have a hot day like today. We've been doing some grading, Perrin Road, Madison today, Dunham the other day. I'm looking into a tree removal contract with Greater Heights. They have a lot of contracts with the state and things. I'm looking at their price list just to, we put something out a few weeks ago for the bid for trees, and they were the only respondent we got. So, and what I want to do is have them, we have, as you well know, a list of trees that are supposed to come down, plus regular maintenance. And using the tree fund money, I just want to start them on their schedule, take down trees that we mark and designate for them to take down. And then stretches of road where we really want to clean them out, we'll ask them to do that, to trim back some of the overhangs and things like that. We will not be using any road crew people with this. It'll be Greater Heights and all their equipment. That'll allow us to put our people back to basic maintenance. So we're really not tree people anyway.
Right.
It'll work out. The only time anything extraordinary will be done with them is if they need a flagman, because we have a line of trees on White Creek that have to go. So we would provide the flagman for that. And also coming up on East Road, I'm also going to look into several local excavators to see if we can get them to start installing some of the culverts. It'll move it along quicker. It's a grant, and also we have a bit of a backlog with culverts. And again, if we can hire a contractor, which we now have the money in next year's budget for, we can hire contractors so that the road crew can continue with ditching and maintenance and grading and brushing and things like that. Because I believe I mentioned at the last meeting that the mowing contract, which is the same verbiage that's been used for years, but it's kind of grown past us. So we're going to talk to our contractor with that to swing this out a bit more and knock back a lot more stuff. And again, we have funding available for that, so we'll be looking into those things. We do have an issue I think Ari wants to address, because we did finish Tinkham Hill, which was a grant We did a one section where we did fabric and material, which was not part of that grant, and there was a materials issue with that when we got it all laid out. We had to add material to the end of Parent Road, and there was an issue with the material there too, so Bart wants to discuss that.
I just have not been happy with what we're getting from Daley's when we go and ask for a shoulder stone. Very expensive, supposed to be the top of the line, and when you get washboarding after you put it down and pack it and chloride it and it's washboards, there just is not enough fine stuff. And when you talk to the drivers that go there, they say, yeah, he mixes it up with a bucket. He takes a bucket of this and a bucket of that, and then kind of mixes and rolls it over. So it is not a consistent thing. And when I called up Brian Lent just to get his input on it, and I didn't want him to catch this without telling him something ahead of time, he admitted that they're stressed because they're trying to make material for the airport, and that takes up a lot of it's sucking up a lot of our fines, was his exact words. So I just don't think they're making a quality product, and we're paying a quality price for it. Town in Wallingford, there's that plant up there that Arlington, Sunderland, and other towns around use that exclusively. They call it 3/4 minus or sure pack, which is the same thing as what shoulder stone is. It's quite a bit cheaper. It's almost half the price, but you've got trucking down here. So I would like to have Dave look at a spot where maybe we could store several hundred tons of it and write up a bid so that we got some truckers that may want to truck it down in their off season or something like that, and that type of thing. So.
I was thinking about the bid process. I think we can solicit a few people or see who's available. When we trucked all the winter sand up,
Okay.
I mean, the individual, I mean, there's a whole conglomerate of truckers doing
Yeah.
it. So I don't know if we need a bid or I can just solicit people for it.
Okay.
If we took some of that SLC stone or gravel and mixed it on the stuff that we've got that's not adequate, it might
I think so. Yeah,
straighten it up.
I don't think this has to be ripped up or anything.
No, I
Yeah.
but if you add it in, it'll mix it up.
Yeah.
We don't have
Make
a
it pack.
tremendous number of projects left, but this wasn't even up to the standards we've had before.
No.
It did go right up, right after Perrin, much quicker.
Yeah.
But Tinkama also is all lumped.
No, I'd like to try it. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian did say that maybe he would keep me informed as to once they get the airport project done, what the
Yeah.
guys do. So, but I really would like to try it. I've used it personally, and it's unbelievable how hard it packs. It's just it's like almost like a blacktop of concrete.
Yeah.
If it's done right.
Less grading that way too.
Yes, absolutely.
That's-
That's my.
You will get
Yeah.
complaints of white dust on the cars.
Yeah, that's.
I have a jar of it downstairs, thanks to Mr. Harrington. Bought me a jar of this stuff last year.
Yeah,
So
but
once we include trucking, how are we expecting the price to come out relative to what we're paying now?
roughly the same as what we're paying now.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I see no reason not to try it.
It's about an hour trip up there, Tim, and back
Yeah.
with a truck,
Okay.
Oh, an hour each way.
each way, yeah.
Bottom line is, we're getting what we need,
yeah,
so.
and it just isn't adequate now. I mean, it had been in the past, but it's not now.
That's their business. They aren't precast or anything
Right,
else, and
right.
that's all they make.
They
is
specialize.
a lot of different
Okay.
products, so they're aware of state standards and all that sort of stuff.
All right, good. Yeah. So what do we need to do tonight?
I think because, like I said, the individual trucking, the gravel is gravel, that's all just part of the budget. The individual trucking, we can just look into, same as we did, like I said, for the winter sand. We didn't bid for that, we found a group of truckers, actually solicited them out of Daley's, so basically said finest truckers. And the rates, I mean, it really was not expensive, it was $80 an hour, I think I remember from then. And, you know, of course, they had a short run, so this pile grew rapidly.
Right.
But we don't have a huge number of projects that are going to require a lot of material. But we
that's
should
what
have
I
the
wanna
right
say.
stuff,
Yeah.
and we should go back and mix correct stuff in with these two jobs,
Yes.
because it's just going to continue to do this, you know?
Well, you don't have to spread it twice inches deep.
Yeah, no, it would be a lot.
Then you mix it, it's all good.
But, yeah. So unless I run into some kind of roadblock, I would think I'll just approach them or approach Dales and say, send me some truckers, this is the job, and,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, without objection, we'll allow Dave to pursue that, and there's no net change in cost, so.
No, it'll come out as watch.
For
If
the
we
same
keep
money,
using
we
this,
get
we'll
the
have to keep
right
redoing it, so,
Yeah.
no, it's
And
unfortunate.
Daley says that this is probably a temporary problem that they're having.
That's what he's trying to indicate to me, yes.
Okay.
All right. One more thing, we have a grant here. What was this grant for? Oh, yeah, this is a contract with BCRC. The erosion survey we're having done under a
Yep.
different grant. Contracting with BCRC to administer this grant. We're combining the stormwater management grant and the erosion control grant with the same company. So it has to go through BCRC so they can get paid. It's absolutely meaningless to us, except I need the board's authority to sign this so they can go ahead.
So you sign it?
I'll sign it, I just need the board's approval.
Yeah, without objection, allow Dave to sign the,
You want a
Right.
motion?
yeah, let's go ahead and do a motion. Tell us exactly what
It's
we're doing.
the preparation of the 2018 Shaftsbury Road Erosion Inventory contract with the Bennington County Regional Commission.
So moved.
So,
Second.
yeah, I'm not clear yet what the motion is.
The approved to sign a contract with the Bennington County Regional Commission for them to administer the Shaftsbury Road Erosion Inventory, which is a grant through Better Roads
Okay.
Vermont.
So we have a motion from Art to sign a contract with BCRC to administer the grant for the Better Roads Erosion Control.
Second.
Seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved, 400. There's been near my house and up by Jim White's house, there's traffic counters in the road.
Yeah.
Is that part of this erosion control survey?
No, well, I'm trying to figure out who that is. There's a bunch of them around town all of a sudden. Now, the state is on a regular rotating basis. They do traffic surveys, but I haven't got around to, because I found one of these boxes on Lamb Road a couple of years ago and just called them up because I wanted them to do the speed survey when we were changing the speed limit on Elm. But they said no, they just have a program that go around putting these around the state.
A State of Vermont V-Trans pickup truck with a young man picked one up by your driveway today.
Okay.
There you go.
So,
I didn't see him pick it up, but I have seen it there the
yeah,
last few
well,
days.
it's
Yeah.
gone.
Okay.
I said, if I'd been here 10 minutes more earlier, you would have gotten my count too. Well, you're too late, he said. He wouldn't mark it down.
Did we have a deal, Dave, with the power company about splitting the cost on cutting trees?
No, they took down trees that were affecting their wires. We weren't billed for it at all.
So that's.
No, but there was a deal when I worked for the town. I had gone to the power company, and trees that could affect the town and the wire and the power company would split, taking them trees down, split the cost.
Oh, they just took them down for free, so I don't
Well,
want to
I
bring
can't
that up.
beat that, but, you
Don't want to bring
know.
that up now. I mean, they
Yeah.
took the hazard trees down that were identified for free.
Okay, all right, well, it's just,
Yeah. So, no deal.
oh, all right, okay.
Good.
Are you
Go
going
ahead.
through?
Yeah.
I got one more thing about roads or traffic, I guess. There has been a lot of four-wheelers, I don't know, whichever you want to call it, kids running up, down, and they start out from Shaftsbury, the corner of where Shaftsbury Hollow and Granger Hollow split. And it's the source of the problem is the house where the murder
Yeah,
happened.
I get back on that. I know who it is.
Okay, well, they moved back in this weekend, and they're already tearing up and down the roads according to the neighbors. So
Okay.
if you can get the sheriff up there,
Yeah.
it'd be much
the
appreciated by the
troopers,
neighbors.
yeah. Okay.
In fact, they burned up one of the machines and left it right in the road.
That issue came up last year, too.
Yep, well, they were gone for a while, and they moved back in
Yeah.
this weekend.
Okay. All right, I think that's everything for roads. The town garage.
All right.
The,
You got three hats tonight.
yeah. The variance was approved today for the fire thing. We knew that was coming, but it's official now.
Oh, okay.
The transfer station work is going to be continuing. We're just modifying some last minute things with the plans, moving some light switches, and reviewing the plans with the crew. We were thinking about moving the compressor to under the stairs, but that seems to have an issue that they're gonna get back to me on now. Move the lockers, change the storage room into a locker room, because in the early days, as we kept reconfiguring things, we wound up with a storage room that we have a whole balcony to store everything on, so we decided to make it a locker room. Just some exhaust system, just how things work. We all came up here and I had the plans up on the board, and the crew and I went through it, what they thought was in the wrong place and what needed. It turned out that we were short a few 220 outlets, so we're having them put in. And we should have the finals pretty soon on the whole project. And we have one thing, contractual thing that we need to discuss in executive session. It needs to be decided on because it's a working contract. And that's pretty much it. The inconvenience at the transfer station is going to go on a little bit longer than we would have hoped, but I think people are adjusting to it, and it's just one of those things. There's no way to do some of this stuff without causing a little displacement. You know, wished it was otherwise, but that's the way it is. Other news, which isn't on here, Cole Hall, I got the stamped architectural plans to do this. It's architects, they all think this should be open, but we're enclosing it. And it'll have 3 posts here to support this large span across here. And our contractor, I'm sure, is fairly backed up now, so it'll turn into a winter project, which will be good for him. And, you know, this place has survived here for 60 years. It'll survive another few months.
Right.
But everything will get done. And there were, unfortunately, no major structural flaws as far as the ingress and egress, no safety things. If we want to start using the front door, we're going to have to address the front steps, but we don't need to do that for a while. You know, we do have to change some doors though, because they're not correct. But we'll take care of all that.
As far as opening?
Yeah, clearly these screen doors which are open, yeah, they need to go completely.
What exactly is the issue with the front?
When you get to the exit door at the bottom there, the elevation between the steps is wrong, so they have to be changed. The old steps would have to be taken out and replaced, and you have to put a new railing in. The new railing has to go on that. Something else has to go there too. And the balcony cannot be occupied with anything. Can't store anything up there or anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's going to be, that's not supposed to be occupied.
Where does that stuff go?
Well, your house, I thought.
Okay.
So we've got to get rid of all that stuff?
Yeah, so we'll figure that out.
Yeah, can we just like have a big bonfire in the...
You know, I wish, and this has been a project that Margie, or perhaps even someone before her, started, and people burn out after the first file cabinet. But what I needed to do, and I've been thinking about it, I didn't know it would have to be this quick, is I might have to just find a couple of people to just sit here, people looking for summer work or something, and start going through this with a retention table, and just start shred pile, non-shred, and then just have one of those.
Who decides that, Tom?
It's the state thing, and you'd be surprised how minimal it is, the things you have to keep more than 7 years.
Okay.
It's not a lot.
I'm sure there's probably, 2 banker boxes up there, stuff that we actually need to keep.
The rest of it is...
Dave's looked in it. It's a lot of like brochures from contractors for a project we did in '74.
And there's tons of records, none of which have to be kept anymore. But somebody needs to go through them, because I wouldn't bet that all the things are labeled the way they should be labeled, and there's going to be a gem in one of those, some document from 100 years ago that should be kept. And so you just can't do it willy-nilly, but, I have a container outside. If push comes to shove, we unload into the container, and then we just start sorting.
We found the charter for Bennington in the back corner of the safe.
Yeah,
I remember that story years ago.
it's where ours was found, in the back corner of the safe downstairs, the one that Judy had hanging on her wall, but I just told her that was way too valuable to not have locked up, because it's the original charter for the town, and She had found it in the corner of our vault. And it was just hanging on the wall, and I started reading it one day. I was like, this is an incredibly unique historical document signed by all these guys back in 17-something or earlier. Like, we take it out at night and put it up, but put it back in, so God forbid it burns up.
Well, this is what happens when people are afraid to throw stuff away, is they keep stuff that's mostly worthless, and, you know, there's a chance that you lose the one thing you need in all the clutter.
And the more time that goes by, the more stuff gets thrown up there. And now we have a mess, and frankly, nobody knows what the weight rating of that thing is. But paper is one of the heaviest things you can store.
But the rules are, it needs to be empty.
It needs to be empty, nothing can be up there.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to hire somebody.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a
because,
long-
like you say, I tried to get Margie to work on it, and she said, you know, they'd worked on it when they had spare time.
Yeah.
You got a lot of spare time as town
No, I don't
administrator?
have any spare time. And Jen, who was Margie's assistant at the time, she had started it, but it's a real slog,
Yeah.
Okay,
you know, so we'll figure it out. But that's probably the biggest unexpected thing. I was hoping to just leave that stored, and like every person before me, well, we'll get to it someday.
Yeah.
I guess that day has arrived, and we'll just have to deal with it.
Well, like you say, if we have to, we can offload it into a container.
Yep.
My worry then is that we end up paying rental on a container for 40 years because we don't go through it.
Yeah, I know, because we don't go through it.
But-
When we, well, yeah, we have a long time. I would think, and I haven't talked to Ed since I just got the stamp documents today. But when I talk to our contractor, we'll see what his schedule is. I am fairly certain we have a good 5 months here before he can get here. I'm sure he's pretty booked out by now.
Yeah.
The intent was to do this a few months ago, but, so we'll get it scheduled. It'll work, whatever it does. I mean, we have the containers here because we have to empty this anyway. The water department's already in a container, and, you know, so.
But I mean, somebody who, you know, learns what they need to be looking for, I bet we could easily have a full-time person a month.
Yeah.
Take a month to go through that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just
So,
going through and just
We've got
meticulous.
5 months, but it's not like we've got forever to
No.
to get it done.
It'd be nice if it was a little cooler up here to do it in,
Yeah.
but we'll get
It'll be cooler
it.
next week.
Yeah, it will be. Stop making noise. All right, that's all I have
right.
on those items.
Takes us to review of action items, which I've got me down to work on the speed control, the next steps on that, and then Dave's going to talk to the sheriff about the issues up in the hollow. Is there anything else that we were tasked with here tonight?
gonna look for a place to store some gravel.
Okay.
Got that right up to the landfill, don't we?
No,
No?
can't store anything up there. It's a work zone, the entire place is a work zone.
Oh, okay.
So even down below is a work zone because Weaver is storing things down there, materials
Yeah.
to bring up when the work starts on the top part.
All right, but at a later date, we can do it down there.
Oh, on a later date, we can do that. You know, and even, you know, we were talking about the sand pile, the winter sand pile. Well, you know, this building, the salt shed is like 50 by 60. So easily one part can be the salt and the other side can be the mix, because we get salt delivered pretty regularly. And we get by with this teeny thing and the even smaller one over there. So if we're talking about the equivalent of 4 of these salt sheds, plus the other side, we would have everything right on top there and mixed inside, and we wouldn't have to worry about
Well,
it.
when you got it inside like that, then you can cut the mix by,
Well, I know, so, because it's not raining out like it does here. And then, you know, we have the gravel pile right there, and we won't run out.
yeah.
Considering how thin we've run just using that before we started renting the other one, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we did run thin a few times.
Okay. So Dave and Art are going to find a place to
Yeah,
store
well, we
gravel.
can pile that right back here. Because the only thing we'll order the SOR stuff for is to use before the end of this season, so we'll just make a pile back here,
Okay.
and it'll all be gone.
Well, then we'll call that one done. All right.
I guess on past action items, we are gaining on the electricity to the Howard Park to put up the
Yes,
the
it's in.
cameras. Oh, it's in.
It's in.
the camera's installed?
Hathaway delivered me the keys to the power the other day, last week, and I have not been up to see if the cameras have gone in, but the
Okay.
power's in.
I will get the message to the camera guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright.
so,
And this was a new camera to
Parking lot.
point at the parking
yeah,
lot.
yeah, there's a new security system for the parking lot, the tennis courts and that.
Right.
Yeah, so,
So it's locked, so you...
yeah, the key's downstairs,
Okay,
so,
good enough.
Speaking of park, any word on when pickleball lines will get
no, actually, they're really busy, and I haven't heard anything from them yet. He's called a couple times, we've missed each other, playing a little phone tag there. But I did order new garbage cans, that's exciting, so.
Oh, okay.
We have to have garbage cans and recycling in tandem, so we have very expensive garbage cans coming. The cheapest garbage cans we can find are very expensive. It's really kind of amazing how expensive this stuff is, but
Yeah.
Why are they any more expensive than any other garbage can?
I don't,
they're just expensive, you know, you're talking $350 for a can.
Because it says recycling on it?
No, well, first off, because it's a park, and if you don't want to go around picking it all up, you have to get a base to attach the can to, you know, so people can't just knock it around.
Oh.
And we are getting a handicapped porta-john for up there too, that we're gonna put over by the tennis courts, kind of where we had it when the bathrooms were broken up there, just so there's some access for people all the time, because right now, 90% of the time, the bathrooms are locked, because there's no one to lock and unlock them.
Mm-hmm.
So we just figured we'll put this up, that'll be on a tie-down too, because the last one had an accident.
We have a water fountain up there now, right?
We do not have a water fountain, no. We never got around to buying the water fountain. Because we got to drill through the walls and everything. We kind of spent a lot of money on the park last year and the year before, just getting the well.
We got a well just for flushing toilets there?
How to flush them, you got to flush them.
Yeah.
And then we're washing your hands and everything.
Do we have, can we find money to
Yeah,
buy a water
we'll
fountain?
probably buy a water fountain for next year, now that we have a new budget. Maybe get it in this year.
We don't have the money to get it in now?
We might, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming, and
Yeah.
we
All
drilled the
right, we'll
well,
get a water
and then,
fountain, yeah.
yeah, I thought we were gonna get the water fountain in right after we drilled the well.
Yeah, we kind of ran out of money.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a big thing with getting that bequest that's really helping fund a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to fund a great
That
deal.
money has come in?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Let's buy a water fountain.
Because the Parks Committee has been talking about what to do with it, so.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be an armor-plated one that don't get destroyed?
The last one was knocked square off the wall, so I'm looking, when we were looking, which was a year or two ago, I was looking for a pretty robust water fountain, so. Because if it's wall mounted, it's not going to last, even with the cameras pointed right at it, as we discovered by people vandalizing the building with the cameras.
Put a smile
Right at it. Yeah.
side over.
Well, they were staring right in the camera, so. But we'll get one in. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll
yeah,
try
let's try to do that this
that.
year.
Yeah, all right.
It's summer. People need to drink water.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some items to discuss in executive session. We have a personnel issue and an issue related to contract negotiations. So I would seek a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Ken, seconded by Art. All in favor?
Aye.
So we will move into executive session.